Well, welcome back. Carole Rodoni is about to wrap this up and tell us about buyers in this segment. We've certainly covered everybody else in the last three.
Okay, let's talk about buyers. Cool. Well, the question they're all asking is this the right time to buy real estate? So the same thing I'm going to say to sellers, I'm going to say to buyers, which is there's not one answer. Mr. Buyer, if you are in a market that's a multi-offer market still, the time you should have bought was yesterday. You probably should have bought in 2002, 3, 4, and 5. So quit worrying about when is going to be the right time. You need to get in that market because we have a market that's slowing and moving, and you're in a multi-offer market. Does that tell you something? It tells you you're in the most desirable location, in the most desirable spot where everybody wants to be. That's not going to change in 2006, 7, or 8. You better have done this yesterday. So get it down tonight, write that check, call up your agent, and make a deal. Now, if you're in the pocket of the market that's flat, it then becomes a numbers game for you because obviously you can rent. But here's the thing about renting that buyers need to understand. See, renting obviously can cost less than home ownership, but over time, what have you got? You've got a draw of canceled checks, and you've never built any wealth because you've never invested anything. So it doesn't matter if the market's appreciating. You aren't getting the benefit of that. So basically, if you're in a market that's flat, for you, it's the best opportunity it's ever been. You're actually not chasing a market where 42 other people are trying to outbid you. Interest rates are still low, 2,600 loan options. I know real estate is going to be worth more in the next 5 or 10 years. Go in there, basically make an offer. You'll be able to have some terms and conditions. Life is wonderful for you. Now, if you're in an area that's declining, I think it then becomes a choice for you. And the choice has to be, do you think you're in the beginning of the decline, or have you ridden it to the end? Because if you've ridden it to the end, see, this is what buyers always miss. We always say in the stock market, you should buy when it's the cheapest, when companies are in trouble. If you think they can get turned around, they'll always get turned around or they go out of business. Real estate works the same thing. In a down cycle, they're going to go down first, but they'll come back. So if you can get in when we're in the down cycle and you're willing to take that risk, it will turn around for you. And it's a wonderful opportunity because you'll be able to really get in and really negotiate. So I always say to buyers, it's not what's the right time. The time is what market are you in, because that determines the right time. And the other thing I want to talk to them about is renting versus buying. Now let's just kind of take this scenario, because see, we have a lot of engineers in this area and I love this. So you go out, let's say you rent an apartment for $2,200 a month, and let's say there's going to be some appreciation. And we always do that, and it doesn't look too bad, and somebody wants you to buy a house in the 700, 750 range, and they're going to give you a loan, and there's going to be zero down, but almost $10,000 in closing costs, and it's going to cost you probably almost $5,000 when you think of principal and interest and everything you're going to do. But see, you get the wonderful government, and the government is your friend, and the government at a 33% tax bracket is going to help you. And maybe at the end of the day, there's only a $1,200 difference between owning a home and basically renting. But that's not very appealing to somebody in a market that's slowing down. So now we have to say, wait a minute, let's step back. Let's look at basically what happens to you over 3 years and over 7 years. Because, see, you're going to be out $80,000 in rent. You'll be out $190,000 in rent. And at the end of that time, you can go sit there and cry because that's all you have are canceled checks, and you just spent $190,000, $190,000, $80,000. This house, let's say it just appreciates at 5%. We're not going to say 20. It's been 8.4. Let's take 5. Take 4. Take 3. I don't care what you take. Now you're going to get the tax benefit. You get the leverage of a line of equity to help you, basically, to do a lot of things, pay off high interest debt. And you know what? If that house appreciates, if that home appreciates just at that 5%, you walk away after 3 years with almost $100 and some odd thousand in equity. After 7 years, $331,000 in equity. So the engineer says, but wait a minute, you put appreciation on that property. I could take the money you want in the closing costs, that $10,000. I can invest it at 5%. And you know what else? There's a $1,200, $1,100 difference between renting and owning this home, and every month I'm going to put that into my investment. And I'm going to match you. If you get 5%, I can get 5%. Now let's look at what happens to you. Well, at the end of 3 years, you, Mr. Investor, that chose to open up your account, have maybe $55,000.
And we have 30 seconds.
Yeah, okay. And the other person has 186, and here's the thing, yours is taxable. Because of 121, your house is free and clear. So go buy some real estate and quit worrying about it. It is the American dream.
That's it. And every time I have a question from a client, what I am going to do, Carole, is pull out this little CD and say, listen to Carole, and then come back and see me.
Good. Anytime.
And don't hesitate to come and join us again, because I just love this kind of energy. Thank you for joining us tonight.